Leave a message at the tone. Thank you.
Hi Todd, it's Lauren Madar calling about Yondu's necropsy. So if you could give me a call back when you get a chance. My phone number is 716-481-1142. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Yeah, I didn't think if anything was going to come back on that psitticosis, that's for sure. I was talking, in fact, I talked to Susan Clubb in Florida. She's like one of the leading avian vets in the country, and, talking about that. And she was saying with any of the tests, you could get as many false negatives as you can get as many false positives, I'm just saying, being in the business for all these years, the likelihood of a bluehead macaw having psittacosis is pretty much like winning the lottery. Not very likely, but it's not relevant. None of it's relevant at this point because we don't know what it was. And I told you up front I would take care of you. It doesn't matter what the situation is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make any money on it from you. And I spoke to Chris earlier, so I will give you his cell phone number. That way you can contact with him, and because he knows what we pay. Him and Zach do the buying of the birds for me. So I don't know. Instead of me having to say, hold on, let me get a hold of them and let you know, they could tell you also what's coming in too.
Okay.
And that can make a decision because we're not locked on anything specific. You could get whatever you want, whether it's a bluehead or an African gray. It's not relevant to me. It's I just want to make sure that we do what is fair, and and that way we'll take the bird and keep it here or keep it at the store until it's ready to go, till you're ready to take it. And, and if you want, we can even have some of these tests pre-done prior to us sending the bird to you.
Oh, okay.
As well. So that's not a big deal. In fact, when I was talking to Susan Clubb, I was, talking to her more concerned actually that, we're going to try to get a lot of our breeders to just pre-test the birds for the two, what the heck is it?
The beak and feather.
Borno.
Yeah.
The Borno.
Oh, okay.
So there's a Borno test that you commonly do, and anywhere from 48 to 60% of the birds come back positive, but it doesn't mean anything with that test alone because there's 8 strains. And the more common strains that birds end up having never affect the birds. They're not a disease strain. Where there's 2 strains that are a disease strain, and that's what causes the inflammation of the nervous system and causes the disease factors. And then there's I think it's I hate acronyms. I think it's like a CGC or something like that. There's another test that they do that actually tells you if the bird is actively fighting the disease. It detects if there's any inflammation. So that's good, but they're still so far away from really getting anywhere with that disease. We're trying to get our main concern is that we have tests done on them before we even get them for that. So,
yeah.
like yours didn't come back. Yours was negative for it. And a lot of birds are negative for it, but you get some of these birds, especially when you're going to places that don't have really good avian vets, and they don't understand that test. And then you got to deal with that. Then it becomes like a terrified scenario that your bird's got this disease that could die from, 20 years down the road, which it doesn't rule out that that's not going to be the case, because with technology right now, it's a disease, it's a test for a disease that 5 years ago you weren't even able, until the bird was symptomatic. Then the only way you could do was if there was a baby bird and you do an X-ray and the perpendicular is enlarged. That really doesn't mean a lot, because all babies have enlarged perpendiculars. So what a lot of them would do is a crop biopsy. But then a crop biopsy is only as accurate as if you happen to get a disease section of the crop. So that was 100%, and today that's still 100%, is if a bird passes away and you do a necropsy, and then on that necropsy you can 100%, not 50% or 60, 70, 80, it's 100% whether the bird had it or 100% that it did not have it. So we're hoping that they will have not only even tests that are more accurate, but like the other diseases, they'll actually have shots to take care of them for it. Like they do with polyoma, and I can't remember if they actually have a shot for what's the other one? Beak and feather. I know that their testing with beak and feathers is very good. It's come out and made substantial, growths, but polyoma. One thing's nice is a lot of those diseases were very easy to determine for sure if they were in a bird, and you knew it was a disease, and it was easy to start eliminating them from breeding scenarios. So that's why you don't really see, at least in our breeding, the breeders that we deal with, we don't see these exotic diseases. The only thing that is always possible is that other one, bornavirus. I'm sorry, I didn't get much sleep last night. My mind is like fogged out.
Oh yeah. I hear you, and and it's not like getting a car fixed or something where they know exactly what went wrong when. There's
right.
I know,
and I don't even have anything in front of me, notes or anything. I got to try to go off on memory, and just trying to do the best on that I can. But the main thing is I did go extensively over with everything with Dr. Cooper Smith, who's our vet, and then I also had Dr. Susan Clubb. Went over it with her, and it's hard to say what actually did. It just seems like everything was doing great until toward the end of the medication cycle, which definitely, if the bird was being medicated in the scenario, if the bird had psitticosis, which I definitely don't think it was, but logically, if the bird was getting doxycycline and you were getting it into the bird, it would kill the psitticosis in the bird immediately.
Right.
It's a drug. In fact, the proper way, if you're, like I know a lot of the vets do the injections, which is very hard on the bird. It's a nasty medication. It does a lot of bruising, and it's a little bit more traumatic in my opinion. But that's what most of them do. The oral, the doxy is, comes in a capsule, and that a lot of them will put it, you give it to you to put it in the water, and then that works very effectively without any stress whatsoever to the bird. And that's the way that they normally do it. If there's a problem, I was talking to her, and she was saying that's like how she recommends it and how she does it. A lot of breeders, what they have, like the small birds outside, will do doxycycline capsules in the water as just a routine basis because of the risks are greater.
Oh, like as a preventative kind of thing.
Yeah. So I mean, these are things that mostly it's like when you're dealing with the smaller birds that people don't always go and get the full workups done. Like our birds in our store, when we breed like the little regular normal parakeets on up, we give them a full workup. We
Oh, wow.
spend the money to have them tested for beak and feather, polyoma, psitticosis, the whole 9 yards, and that way we have a actual clean stock of breeders that are giving clean babies, where you go to Petco and places like that, you ain't getting that, You just got these gigantic breeding facilities that are just pumping out birds. And, so that's where psitticosis is always still at the highest risk is in parakeets. But even all the ones that we've taken in through the years, for the last couple of decades, really, and we test them all, I've not even seen it. So it's getting pretty cleaned out, that particular disease.
Gotcha.
But I'm not trying to ramble. I just trying to let you, kind of from my knowledge of experience of these things that I've seen through the years, most of these things you don't see anymore. I remember when polyoma, it was actually called something else. In fact, Susan Clubb is the one that originally identified it and discovered that particular virus. And I remember the first time I ever saw it was in a sun conure. And I remember it causes bruising, right in the belly area.
Oh.
When it dies. And that's like a telltale sign of polyoma. And then they came out with really good tests for polyoma, and then they came out with a vaccine for polyoma that, went through controversial stages and stuff. But basically now there's no polyoma. There's no reason to be given the injections for polyoma, And it was like, for many years, beak and feather, it was a horror thing. I remember there was, that everything comes in strains. And you'd see some strains where the birds would just, before they're even weaned, their feathers would be falling off.
Oh, geez.
It was terrible. And it's like AIDS in a bird.
Yeah.
And that's something you never see anymore. I know our competitor down the road about 5-8 years ago had a major outbreak of it, came in with some African grays.
Oh, wow.
And that's typically a dust bird, more commonly found in grays, cockatoos, and cockatiels. So, yeah.
Huh.
So that's the download. If you want to think about what you want, or more so even, I'll give you Chris's number. Just give him a jingle, and he can let you know what is coming in as well that's for sale. And if you have something specific you want, we'll just put you on the list for the first choice of one that's coming in.
Okay.
So
That sounds good.
I know that, like, right now we are, like, I don't even know if we have any cockatoos for sale. Maybe some some galas. That's about it. And it's been slow getting macaws too. They've been really, really slow this year. So, but hopefully soon we will have a little bit of everything in the store.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right, dear.
All right.
I'll just instant message you, Chris's, or actually I'll just text it. It'll be easier for me.
Okay.
I'll text that right to you. It'll be Chris's number. I already spoke to him, and he'll take care of you. And if you ever have any questions, obviously you know how to get a hold of me.
Okay, thank you, Todd. That makes a whole lot of sense, and I appreciate your patience through all of this, and your willingness to look into all, and talk with the different doctors about the possibilities, and because it is such a weird issue. But I appreciate it.
And been doing this for all these years. I mean, I've been doing it with my own business for 39 years, and I've been doing this for close to 45 years. And when I got started, in the industry, there was no such thing as domestic. Everything was imported. So you would see all sorts of diseases. Like, one of the first ones to drop off that was really, really horrible was Pacheco's. And Pacheco's most commonly came in on conures, more so the Patagonians, which are illegal in New Jersey. But the Patagonians were really common. They would get Pacheco's. Nande conures would have Pacheco's, and it doesn't affect them.
Oh, so they're carriers. Oh, no.
Yep, they carry it, and everything around drops dead.
Oh.
I've heard stories where people would have one. That, in fact, it was a Nande. They had it boarding in their store, and every bird around it, dropped dead, basically.
Wow.
Now, that was a nasty one. And, of course, the whole reason for quarantining, is is for what you call it, for the poultry industry. And if you have birds with that disease, the government comes down and euthanizes everything. Newcastle's, thank you, wife. Keep remembering. Yeah, Newcastle's. That's the one that's the only reason quarantine was set up back in the day.
Wow.
Newcastle's. They didn't care about the other stuff. Yeah.
All right.
So I'm glad, things are great nowadays. The only thing that we're always concerned about with baby birds when we sell them is baby bird bacteria, because that is very common. I don't care what anybody says, any bird is always at risk of either a yeast infection or baby bird bacteria, which is absolutely no big deal. But if it goes without being treated, it could become fatal.
Oh, yeah, because they probably got to build up their immune system like anything else, right?
Right. So the stress of weaning a bird, the stress of shipping a bird, those are things that break them down, and they're more susceptible. Once a bird reaches about a year old, then they're in a position to where they're pretty much they're good for life, literally. Like our Yellowknife is in the mid-60s, and she looks like she's 5-6 years old,
Gotcha.
So, anyway, you take it easy. I will talk to you later,
right.
But I will send you Chris's number after I hang up.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Okay. Take care. Bye. Takes.